Are you ready to turn heads? Luxury isn't just worn, it's experienced. Introducing a Layla Cara style and new up-and-coming designer collection where exclusive shoes and bags for men and women meets your feet. How about you take a handbag and wear it in style, where each piece is personally designed by Layla Carroll herself and handcrafted from the finest material in Italy. Leather, smooth like butter, bold, timeless, distinctly you. Step into true elegance and make your mark with a Layla Cara style where confidence meets craftsmanship. Visit a Layla Cara style and experience the luxury of art that you wear. Welcome back to Improving Your Thoughts by Freeing Yourself. I'm your host, Layla Carroll, and today this is episode 1, part 2, and it's titled, Who Checks on the Strong Person? Being everyone's emergency contact. In part 2, we're talking about something that most strong people experience, but very few people ever discuss. Have you ever noticed that when something goes wrong, your phone rings? When someone needs advice, they call you. When someone needs money, they call you. When someone's marriage is failing and falling apart, they call you. When someone loses their job, they call you. When someone has an emergency, a medical emergency, they call you. When someone doesn't know what to do, who do they call? Not Ghostbusters. They call you. Yes. Somewhere along the line, you've become everyone's emergency contact. It's not just when something medical goes wrong, emergency, that kind of emergency. No, it's just everything, a crisis. They always calling you. Now, don't misunderstand me. I don't want you doing that. There's nothing wrong with being the dependable one. In fact, it's a beautiful quality to have. Matter of fact, you should pat yourself on the back for that, for being that person that they can depend on in that way. It shows you a lot about yourself, and it says a lot about who you are as an individual. What it means is that people trust you. They believe you'll show up. They believe you're listening without judging them, which is such a beautiful quality to have. They believe you'll help them find a solution. But here's the question I want you to ask yourself today. Who do you call when you're the one having the emergency? That's what we're going with this podcast episode today. With this particular part 2, we're going to go into that, because being everyone's safe place can become a lonely place when you don't have anyone of your own. You got to have somebody. Most of the time, what we should have is a mentor. Someone who's not related to us, someone who's not our best friend, someone who is on the level where they've been through what you are going through, but they're above it. Because they don't usually hold on to what you're telling them. They have already discovered a place that they can go to dump it. And that's what I want to try to help you get. All right? So let's talk about the hidden weight of responsibility. Strong people often carry responsibilities that no one else ever see. They don't get to see it. You yourself, you are always remembering birthdays. I used to remember birthdays. I used to be really good at it. I got to a place where I stopped. I was like, you know what? I ain't finna do all that, But then every now and then a birthday will come up and I'll call and say, hey, happy birthday. Or I send a special text that only I can say to this person just so they can feel special. Because I know there's no other words that could be given to them that no one else can say but me. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing to have someone remembering you. So for the past 2 years, I have a cousin that I haven't spoken to in probably 10 years. The past 2 years, he called me on my birthday. 2 years ago, he called me on my birthday and he said, you're the only Aries that we have left in the family. And I was like, what? I never thought about that. He said, you are. And I remember your birthday every time you come around. He said, even though I haven't talked to you in a long time, I just always remember your birthday. And I want to say happy birthday, cuz happy birthday, Kinfolk. And I was like, man, that really made me feel good. Like, for real. It just made me feel good. I was like, dang, he remembered me. Because I haven't talked to a lot of people in such a long time because I have changed my number a lot. And when I change my number, I don't give it out to everyone. I usually go through the list and say who I talk to that I want to continue to talk to, and then I get that number out to them. And this year that passed, he called me again. Now we talk more than I've talked to him before. He called randomly just to say, hey, Kinfolk, I just want to see how you're doing. I really believe that that's God hearing my heart because of what I've been going through in these past few years, dealing with the weight of being the strong one. And I'm like, God is sending people to me to show me that I am human, that I need love too. It's a beautiful thing. Really, it is. And we have great conversations. And I mean, like, we are very relatable. It's kind of, he's not the strong one. He's not. He's the one that be needing help. But the fact that he was calling not to ask for anything, and I ain't gonna lie, I thought about it. I said, oh, he gonna end up asking for something somewhere along the line. He just baited me in. And I'm like, I hope that's not what that is, though. But 2 years has passed and he haven't asked for anything. So I'm like, okay, God, I see you. you know? But also, you're the one that always checking on family members. That's you, right? You're also the one who's paying the bills. And even if you have help with bills, you're still the one who's making sure the bills get taken care of, that they're not forgotten about. You're making sure everyone gets where they need to go. Yep, that's you. You're solving problems before anyone realizes that there was actually a problem. I've been that person quite a few times where I see something about to happen and I start correcting things before it gets out of control, or even before a person even realized that was an issue. I have even had to bring up some of the situation and say, you had no idea what I done to keep this from happening. I had to step in and do this and that just so this won't happen to you. And then they get quiet and be like, oh, I didn't even know. I'm like, yeah. So you're also the planner. You're the organizer. You're the peacemaker. You're the provider. You're the encourager. The one who reminds everyone else that everything is going to be okay. That's you. But after you've poured into everyone else, who pours into you?
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you haven't already, check out my luxury shoe and bag collection, a Layla Cara style. Each piece is personally designed by me and handcrafted from genuine Italian leather. Whether you're dressing up or keeping it casual, these pieces were made to help you walk with confidence. Because real style starts from how you feel. Go to alelacarolstyle.com and experience these bold, timeless, and completely all you. Check it out. You might find something you like. Sometimes we become so accustomed to carrying everyone else's burdens that we don't even realize how heavy our own burdens have become. Yeah, because what happens with you is that you wake up tired. I mean, you slept 8 hours and you still feel exhausted. Yeah, you go to bed tired. And that's not because you haven't slept, because you slept 8 hours. You slept good. But your body just saying, I'm exhausted because of the fact that you haven't released any of the burdens that you're not supposed to be carrying. That's why you're still tired. Also because you've been carrying emotional weight of other people as well all day long. And you wake up with that emotional weight still there. You're not supposed to do that. So let's talk about strong people, how strong people often feel lonely in a crowd. So have you ever been around people, but yet you still feel alone? I definitely have felt that. Oh my goodness, I have felt that. It's uncomfortable because I'd be ready to leave and leave the crowd. If I'm going to feel alone around people or a person, I need to be alone for real. Because usually when I'm alone, I don't feel lonely. But when I'm with someone that I don't connect with or that's not connecting with me, now I feel alone because you're here. And I need you to leave. Go ahead and go so I can no longer feel that feeling. But this is something a little different. I don't think everyone feels the way I do in that matter. But I'm going to explain this part to you in a different way because this might be you in this way instead of the way that I am. So one of the greatest misconceptions about strong people is that they don't get lonely. It's not true. Not at all. Nothing could be far from the truth. You can be surrounded by family. Yeah, and I've definitely felt this feeling before. That's why I don't always want to be around them a lot. And it ain't nothing got to do with them. It has everything to do with me and the connection that we don't have like we should have. You can be surrounded by coworkers, you can be surrounded by friends, you can be surrounded by people who love you, who actually freaking love you, and still feel completely alone. Why? Why is this happening? Because loneliness isn't about the number of people you have around you. It's about whether someone truly knows your heart. So, a few days ago, last weekend, matter of fact, I went to San Antonio to take care of some situations with my brother. He had some things that needed to be taken care of, and I went there to go out and help him out and everything. And I remember my husband on my way getting dressed, when I was getting dressed to get ready to go, he was like, "So you finna drive to San Antonio?" I said, "Yeah, I'm finna go and help my brother and son." He was like, "Oh, okay. Why do they always call on you when they need help? Why?" And I was like, this has been going on since I was in my 20s. This is over 20 some years of this. I said, but I am the only one who can actually help him right now. And he was like, are you sure about that? Are you sure you're the only one? There's no one else there in San Antonio that can do this for him. And I said, not really, because when I really look at the overall concept of everything that's going on in his world with him, I was the only one who went looking for him when he disappeared from the family for 5 years. I'm the only one who would find him and show him that we still love you, that you are still loved, and that you need to get yourself together and come back and do what's necessary to be back with the family. And if I turn my back on him right now at this moment when he absolutely do need me, I think it'll set him back. It'll set him back into relapse. And he's doing pretty well right now. He's in the rehab. He's doing rehab for drugs and everything. And I say, he's making a conscious decision that he wants to go there. That's something that he's choosing to do. And he said it to me out his own mouth. I need this. And I say, because you said this and you're actually going to do the work, I'm going to be there for you. And I remember him also saying to me, you are the only one that I can actually depend on. And I was like, oh, shoot, there we go, being the strong one. And he was like, no, other people have told me you are really lucky to have a sister like you have. So when I told him about the lump that I found on my breast, he got very nervous and he was like, oh my God. And he was like, I'm going to start a prayer group. I'm going to start a prayer group and we're going to pray for you. That's the response that I need. That's the response that I want. I want people to care about me and not just what I can do for you. Really care about me. Because when I go to the doctor this week, and they do this ultrasound. I already have my mammogram and everything. So now they sent me. They said they do see something. I'm like, oh Lord. So they told me now we're gonna send you to this specialist and we're gonna do an ultrasound and we're gonna take it from there. And so I have my aunt, the one who my mom went to go stay with. She just beat breast cancer. She rang the bell last week. And she started telling me about her process. It's her second time having breast cancer. She had metastatic breast cancer. It moved from her right breast to her left. And she then went through chemotherapy and radiation therapy twice already. She also had cervical cancer, and she went through chemo and radiation therapy. For that too. And I say, how did you feel? And she's like, well, you're gonna be really tired. And you're not going to have a lot of energy to do anything for anybody. And this is the part where you really got to take care of yourself. You can't be stressed out letting someone stress you. And I was like, oh, wow. I don't want to say that this is what this is. And she said, I didn't want to either, but that's exactly what happened. She said, everything that you're going through, the steps that they're putting you through, they put me through the same steps. Until they was able to confirm that that's what it was. It was breast cancer. And I pray that that's not what I have. I pray that God healed me so I don't have to go through all that chemo. But if I have to, I will. I was telling my sister the other day, I say, that's why I got wigs. And she was like, amen to that. I'm like, for real. If I got my hair fall out and whatever, I'm still going to wear my wigs, hey, I didn't cut my hair as short that I could ever cut it before. So it ain't like I'm not used to seeing me with short hair or no hair at all. Well, I'm not used to seeing myself with no hair at all. But still, I got close. So all those things that I was thinking about, I also realized that it's not just about that. What it's also about is whether someone knows your heart. Because you can be around people who don't know your heart and feel lonely. Many strong people become excellent listeners, but poor sharers. We're poor at sharing things with people about what's going on with us. We know everyone else's stories. We know everyone else's struggles. We know everyone else's dreams, but very few people know ours. Not because we don't have them. It's because we've become so used to listening that we've forgotten how to speak. I'm very quiet when I'm around a crowd of people. I don't really talk at all. People, I think I mentioned this to you guys once before. I remember when I was in high school, I was so quiet, people would forget that I was in the room. And I remember one day after I graduated from high school, I was on the bus and I was with my best friend at the time, not my sister here, my childhood best friend. I was with her and she was like, me and her was just talking out and just really having a conversation on the city bus. And this guy from our high school came on the bus and he was hearing me talk and he turned around and looked at me and he said, "Girl, I didn't know you can talk. I thought you was mute." And I laughed and I say, "Really?" He said, you never talked." I said, "I did. I just didn't talk around you and other people that didn't know me, but I talked." And he said, "Well, I can clearly see that now. You really running your mouth back there." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm grown now, baby. I'm grown now. I can say how I feel without feeling like I'm being punished for saying how I feel, you know?" So anyways, let's keep it going. I want to talk about the cost of always being the strong one. There is a cost. We don't realize it, but it is. There's a cost to carry everyone else's emotional baggage. Sometimes the cost is anxiety. Sometimes it's emotional exhaustion. Sometimes it's anxiety and emotional exhaustion. Sometimes it's resentment. Like you start resenting people. Oh man, I started getting that way towards my mom. And I was like, oh my goodness. I had to repent. Because I started really feeling like I didn't like her. And I'm saying like, wow, I should not be like this. I shouldn't. I don't want, especially after finding that lump in my breast. I'm like, oh no, the devil is a lie. You're not finna have me going out of this world with resentment in my heart when I have not had any resentment towards anyone my entire life. Even the guy who raped me when I was 13, I didn't resent him. I forgave him. But I was so upset with my mom for not being a mother in the time that I needed her motherly love that I was getting angry and started regretting helping her. And God put me in a position that I had to help her and tested me to see if I was going to do it. Telling you, it was not an easy assignment at all. But I did it. But I got peace when I did it. When I did it, after it was done, when I was leaving her, I felt peaceful. It was like this peace just came over me that surpassed all my understanding of why I was feeling peaceful. I was just feeling good. I was like, okay, all right. But also, what comes with a cost with that is that sometimes it's your physical illness, your physical health. Yeah. It causes physical illness that become because of the stress that affects your body. This is the reason why imaging coaching exists. Because I don't want people to develop something. Here I am teaching you guys about stress and helping you to improve your thoughts and the way you are so you can be free. I have to take my own advice. That's why season 11 is existing right now. I have to take my own advice because I don't want anything else to manifest in my body because I'm stressed out. Meditation is good. It helps to calm the nervous system and to channel the mind into a place, to focus the mind into a place where you can get control of your thoughts. You know, the scripture says, bring every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ that's within you. So I do that quite often because my thoughts sometimes ramble and go places that I don't want them going. That's what we're talking about, that resentment. I had to change the way I was thinking. I couldn't entertain those thoughts no more. Like, I can't entertain this. This ain't me. Sometimes it feels invisible, you being the one who's the strong one. Yeah. You being wondering, and I know you've been wondering to yourself, if I stop doing everything that I do, would anyone notice me? Because I know I definitely have thought these thoughts. Or would they only notice what I've stopped doing? Because that's what I've noticed in my mom. She had only noticed what I had stopped doing. She didn't notice me. She just noticed that I wasn't doing the things I used to do. And that is very painful. It's a painful question to ask yourself, but you should ask yourself that question. Think about it. Because this is where we're going to get to the nitty-gritty of things, of saying, okay, who I need to forgive, but don't give them any more access to my life. It's time to cut some people off. Forgive them, though. You can't just cut them off and not forgive them. You hold on to grudges, but you have to forgive them. And then now it's time to start making your inner world that you deal with, the people that you deal with, smaller. Because every human being wants to know their love for who they are and not just appreciated for what they do. And you want to be appreciated for what you do, but not that's the only thing. You know? Because you are more than your ability to solve problems. You are more than your paycheck. You are more than your title. You are more than your gifts that you give to the world. You deserve relationships where people ask about your heart, not just your help. I want to talk about Jesus, Yeshua, the Son of God. Even Jesus took time away. Let's look into the life of Jesus. Crowds followed him everywhere. People constantly wanted something from him. Healing, teaching, miracles, answers. Sound familiar to you? Do that sound familiar to you? I know it sounds familiar to me. Yet, throughout the scripture, we repeatedly see Jesus stepping away from the crowds. He withdrew from prayer. He withdrew himself from the crowd to go and pray. That's what he would do. He was the well that needed to be replenished. So he would go pray to be replenished. He rested. He spent quiet time with his father, Abba, Elohim. He didn't allow certain demands, like people demanding him to do whatever they was asking for. He did not allow those demands to determine every moment of his life. If Jesus needed alone time, why do we feel guilty when we take it? I've gotten to the point now where I will shut my door in my bedroom. I have a sign on my door that says "Do not disturb." And I have it taped on there. And I tell my son, if this sign is on my door and I have my door closed, don't knock on my door unless it's a medical emergency or a fire or something like that. You broke your leg or something. If you broke your leg, you probably can't get up the stairs to knock or whatever. You better yell out. But leave me alone. And I'm serious about that. Because when I'm at home, I know I'm traveling when I am working. So I'm away from the house. Not many times that I get the chance to just be at home and not be bothered. It's summertime now. So my son is at home, and most of the time when he was younger, he would go and be with his grandparents, and I would have the summer a break or whatever. But the first part of the summer, June and early July, he's been at home. And I'm like, okay, this little boy here is so full of energy and has to have himself planted by my hip at all times. Can I get some breathing room? So I right now he don't have a sleep curfew. He used to have one, but this is the first year that he don't have a sleep curfew during the summer. I said, you can stay up as long as you want, just leave me alone. Leave me and your pops alone. When we in this room, leave us alone. And now my husband will go to the gym, and I'm like, okay, this is the time that I get to be with myself. While my husband to the gym, I tell my son, go outside and play. Sometimes he'll go outside and play with his friends, then a lot of time he want to be right there up under me. I'm like, oh no, look here. I need some time to myself. Let me have my privacy. And then I'll tell him, and take your little brother, your little four-legged brother with you. Take Cinnamon with you. Gone. Y'all gone. Go and play. And Cinnamon be scratching at the door. My little Yorkshire Terrier, he be scratching at the door. And my son be knocking at the door. And I'm like, can I get some alone time, please? I need some alone time. And then he's like, okay. You got a whole situation downstairs that you can be doing. Get the TV stuff in your rooms you could be doing. If you're hungry, you know how to use the little oven thing. Boy, you better leave me alone. So I have to go through that when I'm at home. And lately, I've been off from work. Like, I would take breaks from work too. Because I'm like, do I have to always be at work in order to get some alone time at the hotel? That's to me is still working. My mental capacity needs to be chill. So, and I'm like, I don't want to have to go to a spa because now I got to pay for some personal time. That should be free. Personal time should be free sometimes, you know? So if Jesus needed alone time, why do we feel guilty about taking our own? I don't feel guilty no more. Man, the older my child get, the more I need it. I don't feel guilty no more. The more my mom get the acting look nuts, so I need it. And I don't feel guilty. So my husband gets it. He's like, that's why he goes to the gym. That's why my husband goes to the gym. That's his alone time. So I'm like, hey, if you can go and get your alone time, baby, I'm finna get mine right here at this house. I ain't finna get in my car and drive somewhere just so I can get some alone time. I'm getting it right here. Rest isn't selfish. It's stewardship. When you care for yourself, you protect your ability to continue serving others. For that reason alone is why you need alone time. You cannot be helpful for other people if you are not helpful for yourself. So protecting your ability to continue serving others from a healthy place instead of an empty one. That's calling replenishing yourself. You got to be able to replenish yourself. So let's talk about the difference between needing and being loved. This may be one of the hardest truths we've discussed all season, that we're going to be discussing all season. Some people need you, and then other people actually love you. There's a difference. If you don't understand that, there is a difference. People who really need you usually reach out when they want something from you, like a favor, advice, money, your time, your energy. But people who love you, really love you, they call you just to hear your voice. They ain't asking you for no favor. They just want to talk to you. They actually genuinely want to hear from you. They also notice when you usually go quiet, when you have that unusual quietness about you. They notice that. They celebrate your victories. They pray for you. And they check on you without expecting anything in return. They pay attention to you. They also pay attention to the people you are surrounded with. They do. They pay attention to that. They know who's really genuinely for you and who's not. So it's time for you to pay attention to people who see you beyond what you can provide for them. because those are the relationships that you need to protect. Now let's talk about building your own support system, because we need that. It's time. It is time. Ooh, I've been waiting to get to this one here. I've been waiting to get to this part, but I had to get you to understand why you're going to have to do this part. So now let's get there. Building your own support system is very crucial to your mental health, your well-being, and your physical health as well. Strong people often think that they have everything figured out and they can figure it out alone. You don't. You don't. You don't have everything figured out. In fact, one of the healthiest things you can do is intentionally build a strong circle around you. Yes, build a circle of people who can support you. Not people who always needing things from you. Okay? Not people who compete with you. You don't need no competitor. Not people who gossip, because you don't want people telling your business. You really don't need that. It's going to make more stress come to you. Not people who drain you. Every time you talk to them, you feel like something's been sucked out of you. You feel like the life of you is gone. What you need is people who are emotionally mature. And you can easily figure them people out because they carry a different aura about them than people who are not. You need people who tell you the truth with love. You know? You need people who can sit with you in silence. They don't have to always be talking. Yeah. This past week as well, when I was at my sister's house, I stayed with her for 2 nights. I haven't stayed with her in years. We haven't just had a moment, just us, in years. I had my son with me, and I told her, I said, I'm coming. It was 4th of July weekend. Matter of fact, I said, I'm coming to San Antonio. I told her I was coming there to help my brother and everything, but I could get a hotel or I could stay with you. And she was like, no, come stay with me. Come stay with me. And I said, well, I don't want to be no burden on you. See, look at me. I already don't want to be a burden. She was like, no, 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 come. And then she's like, so what do you want to do? We can do something. And I said, let me think about it. So finally I thought about it. And I said, you know what? I said, I want to go out. I want to go to a club. I ain't been out in the club with my sister since the 4th of July of 2015. And she was like, yeah, let's do that, let's do that. And then so we did that, had a good time. Then the next day, which was on the Saturday, I was sick. Oh my God, I was so sick because I haven't drank like that. And matter of fact, I can't say I didn't drink like that because I really didn't have but just 2 drinks. I had a rum. No, I had vodka. What did I have? I know it was vodka. Vodka. Oh, I had a cosmopolitan. That's what it was. And the bartender, I knew something was wrong when the way she made it, because first off, it was in the wrong glass. And I was thinking, should I drink that drink? Because she didn't really make it like it should be made. But I drank it anyway, and I got sick. And I felt myself wanting to throw up. And I did. I threw up 7 times, you guys. I threw up like a dog, bleh. Crazy, but I did. I was trying to hide it from my sister. I didn't want her to know I was sick. So I'm sitting on her couch in pain. And she was like, what's wrong with you? I said, girl, I think I got a hangover. And she was like, what? The last time you had a hangover was on my 30th birthday and we went to New Orleans. I said, I know, right? But I really think I got a hangover. And she was like, no, no, no. She said, what do you need? What do you need? At that time, I couldn't hold nothing down, so I was like, I need some electrolytes. And her and my son, she's like, let's go get your mom some electrolytes. Let's go get her some Gatorade. Let's see. She said, you gotta eat. I said, I can't eat. And she's like, no, you gotta eat something. And she was like, what do you think you want? I said, maybe some eggs. It got proteins. I said, maybe a taco or something. Kind of a side of taco. I said, I haven't had one of those in a long time. And right now, my mind's saying that's good. And so she's like, I got you. And she went, her and my son went, got me something and everything and came back. And I felt like, wow, I'm being taken care of. How nice is this? Like, I get taken care of by my husband. Don't get me wrong, but that's different. That is a romantic situation. I'm talking about someone I'm not romantic with, okay? To actually be there and show the love and support and that they genuinely do care. And I was like, after I drank that Gatorade, I went and threw up again. And then I tried to eat the eggs. I went and threw up again. And then I said, okay, well, I'm going to hold on to the kind of side tacos until I get some strength. But I need to take a nap. I said, I think if I lay down and take an actual nap, I think I would feel better. And true, I did. I felt better after I woke up, but not to the capacity to where I wanted to be. I was still weak. I did eat the kind of side of taco and it was delicious. I held it down. But then when I got to the point where she was like, my daughter is going to go out. My brother's going out. Do you want to go out? And I was like, I really don't want to. I was like, I really don't want to. I want to just like sit here and chill. And she was like, well, we can do that. I don't mind doing that. So we sat on the couch and started watching this reality show and everything, and it was pretty decent. And you know, I love my reality shows. That's one way I can get away from my own reality. And so I was just loving the fact that we sat there in silence and just watched the show. And my son was doing it too, because my son don't stay still. But he literally was sitting still, and he came and laid his head on my lap, on my leg or whatever, and he was like, "Mommy, you okay?" I said, "I am great. I feel so loved right now. Like y'all really is making me feel good. This is lovely. I needed this." And I told her when I was leaving the next morning, I said, "Girl, I needed this. You have no idea how much I needed this. Thank you." Like, wow, thank you. So on my way home and everything, and then when I got home and I was telling my husband and everything, and he was like, "Oh, you went out?" I said, "Yeah, when I said, you didn't tell me you were going out." I said, "Yes, I did. I told you that we were gonna have girls' night." I guess in his mind, since I don't really go out like that, he didn't know girls' night meant going out. But I did. And I had such a great time and everything, and it was so wonderful. So what you also, not only that you need someone who can sit with you in silence, you also need people who will pray for you. You need people who remind you that you don't always have to be the strong one. And you also need to know that healing happens in a safe relationship. That's when your healing actually starts, when you're in safeness with people. Don't wait until you're completely exhausted before you begin building this relationship with this team of people. Don't do that. Start building them before you completely exhaust yourself. That way, when you are exhausted, they're already there. Okay? Because it's going to be uncomfortable to start building this team while you're exhausted. It's going to be uncomfortable for you, and it's also going to be uncomfortable for them because they're going to be looking at you sideways like, "Girl, you got problems. Man, dude, you got problems." I'm like, I don't need the kind of problems in my life right now. I got my own stuff. But if you start off with just being a connection with them, then when the exhaustion comes along, they will already be accustomed to who you really are, that they don't really have to feel like you're dumping things on them, if you know what I mean. So just like part one, in part two, I have some reflection questions I want you to reflect on. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. I want you to sit in them, okay? Think about these questions. As we prepare for our next part of part two, oh no, this is part two, part three episode, I want you to reflect on these questions here. Number one, I want you to think to yourself, who do you call when life becomes overwhelming? You might already have that person, and you might not. And if you don't, it's time to find that person. It might be a long lost person, relative, or a friend that you ain't really connect with in a while. And they would probably like to hear from you. Don't dump all your problems on them, though. Just have a conversation. Number two, do you have someone who knows the real you? not just the version everyone else see. Okay? Number 3, have you surrounded yourself with people who only receive from you? Or are they people who also pour into you? Because you are responsible for who you surround yourself with. The people that you surround yourself around, you're responsible for that. You really are, because you can pull away from them at any time, or you can gravitate to who you need to be gravitating to at any time. And finally, question number 4. If your best friend were carrying the same emotional weight you're carrying today, what advice would you give to them? You need to now give that same advice to yourself. Now, I want you to ask yourself this other question right here. Why haven't you taken your own advice? Because that question that you just answered, yes, why haven't you taken your own advice? It's time. You will find yourself better off when you start taking your own advice that you give out to other people. Everything starts at home first. Everything starts within you. Be the first to bite the apple that you're trying to hand out. You want to give someone something? Be the first to receive it. All right? So let's talk about part 3, what we're going to actually be talking about in the next part. We're still in episode 1, but like I said, we're doing each episode in 4 parts because I got to break it down to you where you don't miss anything. If I try to give it all to you in one whole episode, it'll be too long and you will miss so much information that you won't hold on to anything. I need you to hold on to something, at least enough of this, where you can start shaping and reshaping your life to where you're no longer the strong one that everyone depend on, but yet your well is running dry. Now you're able to still be the strong one, but your well continues to keep being replenished. Okay? So in the next part of our episode, the next episode, part 3, we're going to talk about one of the biggest misconceptions about strong people. That because you survive difficult seasons, people believe you don't need help anymore. We will also discover why asking for support is one of the greatest acts of courage you will ever make, okay? So don't go anywhere. Please tune in for the next episode, part 3. And if you haven't already, download these episodes so you can always come back to them at any given time instead of searching, because my episodes, they come quick. I don't do my episodes like a lot of people in the podcast world where they do one episode per week. I started off that way, but I got so much information that I want to give to you guys that I don't have time to wait. So I just give it to you as it comes to me. And when it comes, I put it out there. It's up to you to listen to it. It's up to you to decide when you're going to listen to it and how much of it you're going to listen to and how often you're going to rewind and listen to it again. That's your responsibility. That's on you. So, and now that I done found this lump on me, I don't know how much time I got left in this world, so I want to get it all out. Now, I'm not saying that I got cancer and that I'm going to die, and even if it is cancer, I'm not saying I'm going to die, but just knowing that that lump is there is a new perspective of my life that I can't waste time. And because I can't waste time, I'm putting all this on YouTube as well. Because if these podcasts disappear from the platform that I have it on, which is my website, and on Buzzsprout, if it disappear, at least it's still on YouTube. And you guys can go to YouTube to my channel, Alayla Carroll, and you can even put in my name or the title of not imaging coaching. You can do that too, but improving your thoughts by freeing yourself. And you can find all of my episodes because they're also up there as well. Every season, all of them. You can find them on there as well. So that's why you should download it, so you can always keep it with you. So if it magically disappear, at least you still have the episode that really resonated with you the most. Okay, so I'm signing out. Alayla. Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by stress? Introducing Stress Management with Imaging Coaching, your ticket to a calmer, more balanced life. In this journey you will be taking with us here at Imaging Coaching, we'll equip you with powerful techniques and tools you can use to conquer stress, regain control, and transform your life. From deep breathing exercises to mindfulness practices, you'll discover the tools to relax your mind and body. Come join us on this transformative path and unlock a world of inner peace and resilience. Don't let stress hold you back any longer. Take charge of your well-being today with Imaging Coaching, your stress management team. Discover clarity. Defeat stress through Imaging Coaching at imagingcoaching.com. At imagingcoaching.com. At imagingcoaching.com. At imagingcoaching.com.